Let's clap, let's celebrate, let us be happy. It's a great day. Yes, a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great day, and we are in the presence of greatness. Today is one of those days. In fact, today is the reason why we have television. I'm not talking of the Nigerian judgment, please. So put your eyes from there and bring your minds here. Forget about what happened there.
Okay, can we
in our own way? So whatever the judgment is for some
can we try some other time? I'm in a meeting right now.
That's not why
we're meeting right now. Please.
That's not why we're here. We're here to celebrate. We're going to celebrate a great uncle. Somebody I am privileged to meet in life. You can see the picture out there. Great picture, Uncle Frank. On this day, we wish you very, very many returns with good health, sir, because you deserve it. Please, we need you. God will protect you for us. Today, just enjoy, sir. Enjoy. Please enjoy it because it's a great day. Just know that the day is not your day alone. The day is for all of us. We are all celebrating today. And I want you to know that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today is one of those great days that we are actually here to do something different from the way we usually do it. Today I am going to introduce you to what I call the solution to the industrialization of Delta State. And if you listen carefully with very open mind, perhaps we have because once a problem is identified, it is half solved. But today, I'm not actually identifying problems. I have people with the solutions to the problems. And if that is the case, maybe this is our time. You know, I used to say that I don't think Africa will change in my time. So I'm almost giving up hope. But when I run into these two people, when I run into them, I know there's hope. Now, I am trying to delay this for one of the reasons because one of the engineer Roland, who's supposed to be with us to actually start the show, his network is dribbling us. I don't know why, but I know we get that fixed as we move on. But let me quickly bring all my guests onto the platform right now, right here. Let's look at the faces first. If you've been familiar with this is Uncle Frank. Frank Kedije is the CEO and founder of NVC Funding. Now, we're going to talk about NVC funding in details tonight. Just relax. I can tell you that this is more than banking. In fact, when Uncle Frank talks about some of these things, I'll be quiet tonight because I don't know what he's talking about. But what I did, I listen and I learn and I pick a lot. So if you do the same, even whether you understand banking or not, you will be able to pick something because solution to our problem is today and it's right here with us. And we're also privileged to be joined with so first, before I go further, Uncle Frank, today is a very big day. It's your birthday. Please, happy birthday to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
It's not every day we have people like you, and we may not understand this, and it's not because you don't talk, you don't make noise, but God make noise for you. Today, the heaven and earth will make noise for you in a positive way. We will celebrate this again and again, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Roland just joined us. Roland, you're welcome. to the show. I hope your network will help us tonight, Roland, because we need you. Are you there, Roland? Anyway, we're going to manage. Roland, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys, but
okay,
the network is so poor, so you guys are also breaking out.
Well, we can hear you if you speak like this. If we can maintain this, we don't mind.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. That's engineer Roland.
Possibly, let me come.
Yeah. All right. Roland is coming back. It's coming back. Listen, but that's engineer Roland is going to be with us. Roland developed this blueprint for the industrialization of the Delta State. And if you see any fault in it, please be sincere. I've run this where many people, the truth is you might not even like us. You might not like Roland as a person, but the idea is noble. This idea is a solution to a problem. And I'm very sure he will share that with us one more tonight. And you will see. Let me go back to Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank is an expert. He's a financial expert. Let me give it to him. So we're proud of you. I'm going to say happy birthday again. I'm going to say again and again and again. And anytime I come to you, I'll remember you that happy birthday, sir.
Thank
so
you.
Now we're with Uncle Frank. He's going to talk us through the financing of big projects. No, I'm not talking of some of the money people go to IMF to go and loan. Uncle Frank has solutions to some of them. But we're going to talk about it briefly. Uncle Frank, please, we're happy to have you tonight, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Finally, let us have Luther. Yes, Luther is one of the guru behind it. You know, when I don't want to disturb Uncle Frank, I'll be jumping on you, Luther. Luther is a big man with the MVC. Luther, I'm going to start with you tonight because you are the person who's not really been introduced on this platform. So tell us what's your role in the MVC. First, start by telling us what MVC funding is all about and what you do there.
Very straight. MVC is a financial company, and we help other companies to be able to go into business. Say they're looking for loans or support that we can give them financially in order for them to be able to start. For me, I am responsible. Everything you want to do, you require technology to be able to do it effectively. Yes. So my job is essentially in the technology world. Anything that we're going to do, we're planning to do. For example, we're currently working with Visa, and it's my job to make that happen. That is my role. But the chairman, Frank, and few other people are basically involved in the financial aspect of MVC. So if that explains the point. Yeah.
It explained it well. So in other words, you handle the technological aspect of it. For instance, if you're branching into Visa,
by the way, I'm a Nigerian too.
Okay, sir.
So even though I'm in the United States, I mean,
and you know, that's what I want to celebrate tonight, that we have this talent, not just talent, resources in the United States. And I wonder why we've not really got them back home. We'll talk about that tonight.
Yes. If there's money,
yes,
I can tell you that we have more than 1 million Nigerians who are doing very, very well in the United States. We can always go home and do better. But the question is, do we have the right leadership back home to do that, to make that happen? So right now, we still have leaders that we cannot trust. Trust is important. And NBC is about trust. Yes. If you tell us this is what you want to do, we trust you, you want us to trust us, we're going to make it happen.
Well, you see, Luther, we're going to work together. Okay. We're going to build trust tonight, if that is the case. I want to see if we can build trust tonight and see that we can, because I think this is a great opportunity to change destinies. You know, children are coming up with some people, misplaced priorities. We have a big state. I'll be zeroing more on Delta State tonight, unfortunately.
Okay. Can I ask you, where is the gentleman who's trying to connect? Where is he at?
It's going to be
London or Nigeria?
No, there's another person, but Frank, I don't know why Roland picked on this network tonight.
No, not Frank.
We'll still have Roland. We'll have him shortly. We'll have Roland.
Where is Roland at?
Roland is in Nigeria.
He's in Nigeria. But I think it might be in Angola at the moment because sometimes he's an expert and he does all this international work as well.
So anyway. Essentially, it's in Africa. Okay.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Africa.
And that is the thing we're talking about. If as of today, we are stable, America is stable, UK is stable. If you see Africa, you're going to have we have a problem. That's one of those things we are trying to solve. Because now we can't communicate with Roland because of the way things are back there. And it stems down from leadership down to, because the only thing we have is leadership. That's what we lack. Anyway, so let's jump in slowly before we bring Roland. But Uncle Frank,
yes,
I want you to use your own words to tell us what NVC funding is about and how you got this whole institution started.
Well, NVC Fund has been it's been around now since the year 2000. But before that, I was involved in other endeavors in finance and investment management. So back in 2000, I consolidated every operations into what is now called NVC Fund Holding Trust, which is the holding company for all the subsidiaries and other interests that we had. So we've been around now for about 23 years, but it has not always been well financed the way it is now. Back in 2007, we, as a result of all the things we were doing, we were able to run into a large asset of gold, platinum, rhodium, silver property that was brought into the trust that became the capital base for the trust. So ever since then, we've been well capitalized using the trust assets of gold, platinum, rhodium, silver property here in the United States as the collateral backing every transaction that we do. So we issue trust certificates, trust units, bonds, certificates of assets, securitize them, provided QSIPs and ISINs so that they become securitized. So we use those trust unit shares as our equity in different transactions. And we've been doing that now for quite some time. And so we changed the narrative as it concerns in-ground assets to bringing them from a dormant state to a securitized state so that it can be applicable in creating balance sheet enhancements for those who require collateral. So practically we became a collateral lending entity. And as a trust, the trust is the foundation for all financial institutions like banks. The private banking part of it is what brings capital to the financial institution. So we have to undergird those balance sheets that are weak by providing them a portion of our balance sheet to augment and enhance their ability to go into the capital market. So practically NVC Fund is a provider of assets to not only corporations, but to financial institutions that might need assets from time to time because of their ratios. Because in the world of banking and finance, assets under management is the most important aspect of it. The equity of every institution derives from those who invest in those institutions. So we are practically an anchor investor in many situations because we bring the strength of the balance sheets to bear. That's a nutshell of what we do at this point.
Yeah, because I think it's for those of you listening, you might not understand the whole language, but simply put, what NVC does is provide financial solutions to problems. Let me put it that way for now. And I'm going to allow you to dwell on that further, sir. So if you are, and we're not talking to just small individuals, I want to discuss this as it affects the Nigerian state. In particular, I'm going to zero it to Delta State. Sir, I called this meeting and I titled it The Industrialization of Delta State. And I intentionally did that, sir, because unfortunately, this young man has not been able to join us. Roland came up with a blueprint, which something I agree with that could help to change the narrative in Delta State. He talks about these 5 industrialization zones, and then he talks about what we all can do. And the thing that comes to my mind is, Roland, where are we going to get all this money? You understand? And that is where I really want you to tell us what, in situations like that, say for instance, if Delta State have a blueprint or some really good convincing solution to how our problems can be solved, how can you come in?
Well, I think we are now in position to be able to solve the problem, because in solving a financial problem, you have to have those with the authority to act. You have to have those who have the reasons to act, and you have to have those who have the understanding to act. I had put a plan of action for the development of the Okwe Kingdom, because I'm an Okwe man by birth, and I grew up in Sapele, so I'm from Sapele. And
wow! Stone through from my village. Thank you very much.
Yes, so I left Sapele, I think 1979 or 78 as a young customs officer, and went to Idiroko. From Idiroko, I came to the United States in 1981. So I've been around. I've been in the United States for quite some time, but I keep tab of what goes on back home, because I can't forget my homeland. That's so the idea to change the trajectory in that region has always been with me. Then I think a few years ago, I heard of the Sapele Industrial City.
Yes, sir.
So I said that, I need to partner with them and help them accomplish that, because it's what my original plans had been. And so we can partner, because you might have all the resources, but if you don't have the people who know what to do,
yes, sir,
then it cannot be done. Money itself, it has no use unless you have those who know what to do with it. And these things are not easy to be implemented. You have to have people who are passionate, who are driven, and who know what to do. And I was glad to meet Chief Paul Abu, then eventually to Roland, who is the master brain behind the Sapele Industrial City. And when I got their document, I saw that they knew what they were talking about, and they were passionate about it. And so I said, okay, I'm going to partner with you guys to have it done. But the state also has to be involved, those with the authority to provide the logistics of state and backing of state. So now we have during the, I'm not too sure if it was before the Okowa administration, but during the Okowa administration, I don't know what the progress they've made, but I'm sure they made some progress. But now that we have a new administration, Chief Sheriff or Governor Sheriff, Governor Sheriff is from that area also, and he's an Yoruba man, an Okwe man.
Yes, sir.
And so there's no reason why.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, so all the stars are aligned at this point, and so there's no reason why we cannot do that, especially having myself on this side with the understanding and the resources to pull it and provide the financing part of it. There shouldn't be any excuse why the Sapele Industrial City or the other projects cannot be implemented, because at the end of the day, it's all about financing.
Yes, sir.
And looking at the budget of what is required, I think we have enough to be able to do it if we have the will and the people to stand behind it and make it happen. So I see it as a legacy project. It's something that has to be started, and then it might outlive all of us, but at least we have to start the trajectory of industrialization of this entire state and the neighborhood of the Niger Delta. And my plans are beyond that, but it has to start from home.
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah.
Okay, because that is it. I know that MVC as an institution can solve Nigerian problem and even move beyond Africa as a whole. I will be asking some questions to that, but let's quickly stay with Delta State first. Maybe let's start from there. Sir, I'm happy you've been able to go through the plans, what we have, what Roland has put together in terms of getting us this industrial side, what needs to be done, and we now have the blueprint. The idea is there. There's you coming with financial solution. What do we need from the government? So we can start. If I'm a layman and I want to get this happening, what do I need the government to do so that we give you the base to work with us, sir? Can you hear me, sir?
A brief second. I got to take this phone call.
Yeah, I think he's saying that we're going to need the support of the state government.
Yes.
Logistic support of the state.
Yes, let's put it this way. Luda, before we have Uncle Frank back, I think he's making a call. So yes, what do you as an institution, as a company, need from us, from the state governor, or from the state government to get to roll into action?
Okay, good. We need a guarantee from the state governor to say they support this mission. And okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say we need location or land.
Yes.
It's always good if you have the state governor behind you so that they can help you, because we don't have time. Okay. We're in the United States and we don't do bribery. We don't do any of those kind of things. Yes. We're a company of trust. But if you have the state governor and support of you, all we can do is just make it happen.
Yeah.
Then everything just roll from there. I think that's what the chairman is just about trying to say to you.
Yes, that's it.
We need logistic support.
Logistic support from the state. All right. I don't know why Roland keeps coming and going, but he's still there. He's going to be there. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to understand what is happening tonight. For those of you who have not watched this show, this is a blueprint. We're trying to put down. It's an idea that should not, when you have those ideas and you don't want to reveal it.
Yeah, but here's the question. Here's a question for the chairman. Do you have a blueprint yet, sir?
Yes, that's a question.
No, it's for the chairman. It's for Frank.
Okay.
Do you have the blueprint? Have you read it?
Yes, they do. Roland is very passionate about the plan.
We cannot hear your volume. Can we hear you louder, sir?
Let's see. Can you hear me better?
No. The volume went down.
Yeah, the volume went down, sir.
Oh?
It's there, just to raise it.
Hold on.
Yeah, we're with you, sir. Okay.
Can you hear me better?
Still not yet.
All right.
Maybe you want to stop and bring it and come back.
Okay, let me do that.
Yeah, better. Let's see how. So, Lutus, like I'm saying now, the truth is, I don't know whether Uncle Frank has been able to brief you. Roland come up with this unique idea. It's foolproof, really. From my book, I'm not an engineer. It talks about how we can actually create a foundation, for investment to happen by having these 5 industrial zones, called the free trade zone in Delta State. It's beautiful. It talks about the different companies that can come in there, even down to housing, different industries that will come in there to change the narrative. We're talking of using everything we have. And Delta State, like he correctly said, we have a comparative advantage which no other country or no other person can claim to have, because according to Roland, we are, and I agree with him, we are geographically and geologically well positioned, to make this happen. My worry had been, where do we find the money? And that's where you come in, So, and that I'm happy you were asking Uncle Frank, and Roland is here at the moment. Unfortunately, the network is waving, but we'll have them back. Let me see whether I have Uncle Frank back.
Yeah, let me just say something. Okay, good. Okay, Frank is back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So the question is, what do we need from the state?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the state is very important because the state has authority, and especially in areas like Nigeria, nothing happens without the government's support. Because with the government, with the authority of the government, then we have all of the support that is required to make this thing work. Sometimes people have authority, but they may not know how to use their authority.
True.
So we will help the state. There are blueprints there already. The idea of industrial free trade zone is a very important concept. And those concepts have been utilized in many ways to develop areas where the private sector is not as robust as it is here in the West. So if we create industrial free trade zone where the people, where the industrialists or where the authority is vested in the management of that neighborhood, you can control the environment with the support of the government.
Yes.
So that is the idea that is being propounded, to develop those areas in partnership with the industrialists that will invest in the industrial free trade zone.
Yes, sir.
So we can support that concept, and the financing aspect of it will be through our partners and friends here that have the resources, and we can help underwrite it and make it possible, because the state government may not have the resources. Even sometimes the federal government may not have the resources.
No, they may not.
They are overextended, but private enterprises and institutions such as us can help to mobilize those kinds of resources to bear.
So for instance, what kind of figures are we looking at? That's why I wanted Roland to be here, and so that we know where we're starting from. If you look at me, I'm very new to this. It's something I know. Yes, we can industrialize the state. I have small idea of what the free trade zone is all about. Okay, if we bring the free trade zone, we shall work. I'm surprised that companies like the Chinese have been able to attract some of the companies from the United States, because they created a very enabling environment for business to move there. And that is what the free trade zone can do for us. And from what Roland discussed with me, there's that security for those who want to invest. So what we need is really start it up. And I agree with you. We need the government to come in and mobilize the communities and get the zones we're talking about and make sure secured and give us some infrastructure that we need to start. That is one where we need the government. But, sir, what kind of, I'm probably going to wait for Roland to give us kind of figures, because that's one thing I want to find out today. What do we need to start?
Well, I think I've had an idea of what the figures that Roland was been talking about. Those figures are not, I don't think they're nearly enough for what is really required, because we lack a lot of things. The basic infrastructures are missing. So we have to build those networks. We have to build those infrastructures. But we don't have to. We're not too far off from the figures, and I don't think the figures are going to be that difficult for us to bring, because we have the resources and partners and systems to be able to make it work. So that's the beauty of where we are now.
Yes, sir.
So the fear of who is going to invest that kind of money in Nigeria or in Africa or in Delta State, it just happened that one of the drivers that is going to be pulling the financial aspect happened to be from that area.
Thank you.
So that's a plus for the neighborhood.
Yes, thank you very much. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you, what we're talking about is beyond local banking, please. So we're not talking of some local banking. We're talking of changing our destiny as a people. You see, and I intentionally arranged this interview I don't know why Roland network is so bad today, so that we can have this little discussion for the state. I'm sensitizing the state, getting the message across that something big is coming to Delta State. We are so lucky that this happened to be a time, I don't know how it happened to a time that Roland was able to come up with this idea. So let me just sincere what Roland had. When I met one of the governorship candidates, not the one, he didn't win anything, but he said, when he saw Roland blueprint, he said, wow, where have you been? You understand? Unfortunately, he didn't go anywhere. He wasn't a likable person, but he bought into the idea immediately. And when I said, wow, thank God that you can see what this man is talking about. So it happened that Roland is from our area, from the same Bokbalan. He's from Saple. And he has the idea, which has been put on paper. It's not just something put on paper, it's a workable idea with steps on what we can do. Unfortunately, I don't know why Roland is not doing the job for me tonight. And then it's Uncle Frank, who has the financial understanding and the connection and the resources to guarantee us whatever money we need to have. Funny enough, we now have a governor who is our own. Hallelujah. So I'm just thinking, where do I start? Because God has given it to us in a palm. Just move. So I'm going to think, I'm just waiting.
Okay.
What are we waiting for? Yes, sir.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
Go on, sir.
Is it possible
Yes.
to have a meeting not too long from now with the governor, with the current
governor? I can tell you that yes.
Okay, one thing, the logistic is very, very important that the chairman is just talking about. If possible for you to work with Roland, get the governor on TV, it could just be maybe 30 minutes. And also, I'm just finding out today that in my state is Kogi State. It just so happened that Natasha, who is running for senator, who is married to somebody from Sapele, has been given the Senate. So we need all the support. Let's say you can get a governor, get Natasha on the phone, and then we can do this a collaborative effort. So that is very, very important. When the chairman just said, we need the logistics support. So maybe that will be the next step you guys just need to do.
Yes, and I agree. Roland, can you hear us, Roland?
Yeah, my network is very poor. Yeah, so I can hardly hear you people.
Okay, let us quickly hear from you because we can hear you loud and clear. Can you tell us, we're in the presence of greatness here. Here's Uncle Frank.
I can't hear what you guys are saying because my network is very poor.
Oh no, what a day, Roland. Today is one of those days you shouldn't be having this. But anyway, try and see if you can hear us because we really want to have your input. Like what I just said, he wants me and you to have a meeting or set up a meeting with the governor. But my suggestion was going to be, I am going to officially, after this discussion, make a move for Uncle Frank or Luther and Roland to meet with the governor and share this beautiful idea of how to move the state to the next level with the governor. He's a very young man, he's very receptive. If you can't take anything from Sheriff, he's one of the most open human being I can sell, So with him, I don't see any obstacle. I think this is the greatest thing that will ever happen in my time. So it's personal, you understand? So I really want to jump. I want to jump right now. Roland, if you can hear us, tell us a little bit about the idea so that those people watching, listening, those have heard about you, can you just brief us quickly what you have in place for Delta State that Uncle Frank can help us to finance and we move?
I don't know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys confirm you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, so if we are having Uncle Frank and his team that have expressed interest to fund the development of the Delta Industrial master plan, that means almost everything is closed because in development of this nature, the difficult end is to get a developer that will be willing to carry out the development. So in our discussions, we talked about using the community, as using the government community private partnership model, which is the GCPP. So model, we already have the government, and then the community is easy to also get. Then with Uncle Frank and his team, that means we have a complete team. I haven't said that there are roles which definitely the state government needs to play to.
Okay. As you know, we're going to have a little bit of the challenges, but I think we can manage this tonight. Roland is just telling us, that's 1 or 2 rules. I'm going to put him out. One is I'll bring it back. He's telling us 1 or 2 things the government need to do. Whatever happened, I think we got it right. What a perfect time. What an opportunity. We have Uncle Frank and your team. Thank you very much. Happy to have Luther, who is even from Kogi State. Roland said something about your state. You need to hear what Roland is saying. The kind of mineral deposited in your state is amazing. I never knew that. All right. Roland made me to realize that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean by
yes.
We can bring, in addition to the governor of your state,
yes.
we can bring 1 senator. Natasha. Right. You know why? Natasha is married to somebody from your place, from South Africa.
Okay.
So it all a combination of
what a timing for us. Okay. You know, I think if listen, I'm from Ugara, so I'm a stone throw, sadly is our town. But if I'm an Okpema today, I would be excited. You know, maybe you have some blood that we need to reject. I'm going to go and get an Okpe wife. All right. Listen, this is serious. No, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that the solution, you know, sometimes we're looking for solution to a problem. It's at home. And that is what is surprising me today. That what we're looking for to solve our problem as in Delta State, because we've been in government, let's say Delta State we've been running this civilian administration for the past 24 years. I see nothing happening. And so I asked Roman the other day, it's not true that you guys don't know what to do and they didn't do it. Some of them practically don't know, and some of them actually don't have the resources. But this is the first time in my life that I can find a solution, and the solution, problems and solutions. So we identified it and we now have the solution to it. What could stop us? That is what I don't know. I will, Roland, if you can see us, I will allow you to chip in, finish what you were saying before.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can hear me now because it's as if the network has improved.
Yeah,
so we will need the government to also make some commitment in terms of executing the initial work program. So the initial work program we give the developer or the investor, which Uncle Frank is trying to put together, and his team, that comfort to progress the development. So the initial work program actually is not really a very complex thing. So it's, if you want to list them, it starts with the land itself, acquisition of the different land for the industrial cities, which if you're using government community private partnership, that means the community will be committing those land at no cost to the investment. It's just that there should be a government initiative to annest or to bring the community members together. Then they can form what you call the industrial city OSCOM committee or trust committee, which that OSCOM trust committee will not be the one to execute agreement with the government to release the portion of land for that development. So if you have done that, then the government can now go to the phase 2. The phase 2, which is the survey of the land. So if you've actually marked out a land, then you have to do the survey. And this, the state government has resources to do because they have Ministry of Land and Survey, which they can do. And it forms part of the initial work program. So if you're talking about a project, if you've not executed the initial work program, it does not make any business sense to investors. So you have to execute the initial work program. So I have started with the land acquisition. Then the second one, which is the survey of the land. You need to do survey. Better you do topographical survey so that the investors, when they see the survey, they have a feel of how the land looks like and the capital that will be needed to do this further development. Then if you want to list the third item, that will be the land title. So after you've gotten a survey of the land, you can now actually get the land title. So even before you do the land title, you can actually set up the SPVs. So for the Delta Industrial Development Master Plan, which we propose with 5 industrial cities, so you can actually set up those industrial city corporation as an SPV with just the community to start with, because then the private investor has not come in, you are executing initial work program. So for Sapele Industrial City Free Trade Zone, for instance, you can establish Sapele Industrial Corporation, which is an SPV between the state government and the community. And for Asaba Industrial City Free Trade Zone, you can establish the SPV, which is the Asaba Industrial City Corporation, an SPV between the community who owns the land now, because they are committing the land as part of the investment, and the state government. Then the Esravos Industrial City Free Trade Zone, you will do the same thing. So when you have set up the SPV, then you cannot do the land title. The land title, you're going to now give authority to the SPV, that the SPV is now the title holder of the land on behalf of the community and the government. So the community and the government has given trust to the SPV, to that body that's come. Going forward, you are the legitimate owner of the land. So you represent us in managing this land we have given to you based on that land title they have given. So the land title is like C of O. So the C of O, for instance, if you're talking about the residential district, just with the C of O, people will start coming in to develop properties and they will start getting their money, because with the C of O, it becomes fundable by the bank, etc., etc. Without the C of O, it's not fundable by the bank. So when you establish the SPV, then you give the land title to the SPV, then you make it fundable. Then apart, when you want to move forward, the government now also need to add, doing master planning. So the master planning will plan the whole, industrial city into the district, and also provide initial budgetary information, because that information is needed by Uncle Frank and his team to know a budget estimate of how much it will cost. Then even in the master planning, you're going to phase out the execution. So you phase out the execution of the development in such a way that you will have quick, return on investment. Definitely, you want to start cashing, making your first revenue as quickly as possible as you put minimal funding into the development. So you will structure the master plan in such a way that you're starting, you scale it out, and you're starting from a phase that you can easily start generating funds from. For like a place like Delta State now, if you're looking at starting from the residential district, you can quickly start raising funds, which you will now be using to continue the development. So instead of the developers will be putting a lot of capital, they will start making funds from the residential district. There are so many people who want to settle in this area as long as it is safe, which the industrial city will provide you. So if you've done the master plan, the government also needs to do in basic infrastructure. So those basic infrastructure will not seal everything. So if you put perimeter fencing, just like the way the Lagos state government did in the Lekki Free Trade Zone, then you do access roads, then you do liaison office. When you have done that, so if Uncle Frank and his team, they are coming, even before they come, when we send them a 3D model of the industrial city and they look at it, it makes more business sense to them than if we are sending them pictures of bushes that makes no sense. Then when they also come to the proposed industrial cities, and some of these initial work programs, they already been executed by government, then it makes it easy for them to release their fund to now progress with the main development. So it is their development that will now, expand the city to the standard that will be competitive with other industrial cities in the world. So that's the base plan. So the government has a role to play to be able to attract investors to come in.
Thank you very much, Roland. And I think this, what you say now, for me, I can't see anything complicated in it, because before now, our communities are always welcoming industries, you know. So if the governor, for instance, set up a team and say, okay, go to the Saple community, for instance, and say, we need this social plot of land, letting the people know they're going to be partaker, because they're going to be shareholders, because they're contributing the land. So they become shareholders of this business. I think they will jump at it, especially when it's coming from the governor. And like you rightly said, we have the ministry that can actually work on surveying the land, and the government will issue the CFO. And this kind of thing about is really so easy, and maybe it's me thinking like it's nothing. I can't even see money.
So let me share a brief experience with the Saple Industrial City Free Trade Zone to tell you how eager the communities are to development. All the communities in Delta State, they are eager to see development in their land. And most of the communities we have worked with, as a fact, some of the community members go extra mile to spend their own resources to ensure that development comes to their land. So when we conceptualized the Saple Industrial City and we took it to the palace of the Oroje of Okpe, and after the discussion, the Oroje was very impressed with the concept. Immediately, he set up, what we expect even the government to be driving. He set up the OSCOM, the Saple Industrial City OSCOM Trust Committee. So he set it up. So as soon as he set it up, and it's made up of, the chairmen from the different districts of Saple local government area of Okpe Kingdom. So all the chairmen were in the OSCOM. And you see the commitment the chairmen put into it. Most of them, they are ready to sacrifice and make a lot of sacrifice to ensure that the project come into light. And within a short time after they held their meetings, they were able to mark somewhere that is close to 10,000 hectares of land proposed for the city. 10,000 hectares of land area that the city can cover that area. And the government of Ifeanyi Okowa actually made some effort, because then the Oroje also sent delegations to make presentation to the governor. Well, unfortunately, I was not in country then, so Olorogun Abu made that presentation, and the governor immediately set up the Saple Industrial City Interministerial Committee, headed by Olorogun David Edewe, and a lot of work was done in that committee, and Olorogun Lucky Ogano Moru also was the secretary of that committee, and he did a lot of work actually, because they now sent a team from the Ministry of Land and Survey to do the survey approach, and that was where the whole project. So they did the survey approach. They extracted a map of the land. So after the survey approach, they would have progressed to establishing the SPV. Then after the SPV, then continue with the development. But that's where it stopped in that instance. But the point is, the communities are ready and willing and always committed to ensure that things like this that will bring development to their place, they will support it. They will support it.
Yes, thank you, Roland, for your passion for this project. So the big financial side of it we can cover. The logistics of what you're talking about are the details, the nitty-gritty things that needs to be covered. And I think with the support of the state government, we can cover them, because in most cases, what happens in political in government is that there's always a budget issue. The budgets are drawn ahead of time, and in our space right now, there's not too much room for wiggle in budget. But even what they have now, as little as it might be, because they don't have the capital to do the development. So when they hear the big figures, the question is, where we're going to get this kind of money? Where we're going to get? Where we're going to get $2 billion or $5 billion for the development? Yes. Now, those are the kind of things that we can cover. But the small stuff, I know what to do with small stuff. If I get this, once I have the state commitment and the state support working in tandem, all of what needs to be done can be financed with the little that they have. The big picture, we can cover that because the balance sheet of NVC fund is dense enough to be able to do that. So there's no excuse at this point if we have the government support, they have the will, because this is a leg. In other words, the stars are well aligned for the benefit of our people.
And in fact, I think governor will be jumping at this.
It should. There's no better time. All the prayers of our great grandfathers for the development of our area has been answered, and is answered in real time now.
It's answered
all of the prayers of our mothers, all the groaning, all of the pain that we are at the point where all of those things are possible. And there's nothing should be able to stop us unless we don't put in the required energy to get it done at this point. And as long as we are willing, ready, and able, then there's nothing that should stop us from doing that. Because go on. And the kinds of plans, the kinds of things that I'm involved in. Okay, I'm involved at the very, at the high levels of things for the development of the continent of Africa. I'm involved at the highest level. But having said that, in spite of all of that, home is still the priority. I'm from Sapele. I'm an Okwe man, and I'm from Delta State, and I see it, all of. In other words, the entire state can be developed if we have the will. The resources are there for us to be able to do that. As far as I'm concerned, the entire area, the entire state should be a construction site.
Amen.
Because the people need work. Everything is needed in that environment, and we need to bring it. We need to bring it to where it was not even during the colonial time. Because I grew up in Sapele in the 70s. I grew up in the 70s, so I'm very aware of what the place looked like when just after independence, because I benefited from the resources that were left behind. When I left Sapele, we had seaport in Sapele.
Yes, sir.
We had AT&P, very, very bright functional. We have industries. So I left Sapele in a very pristine state. I mean, when I left there and came here, there was not much different between what I left behind and what I found here in the United States. But things have degenerated because of the local politics because we have not moved forward. Instead, we moved backward because they took resources that should be built upon and moved them from the area, like the seaport, like most of the industries. They relocated because they damaged those infrastructure over a period of time. And now Sapele is left without those industries. Those things can be re-engineered and re-brought back because we are in the right location. Delta State is in the right location, and I believe in the Delta region. I believe in Delta State. I believe in the old Midwest. So we can revive and bring all of it. It's going to require some resources beyond what the state government can muster. But we will bring the resources with the cooperation of the government, whether they have it, they have little, but we can bring a lot into it. And the only reason we're able to do that is not because the place is very attractive, But because we don't have any choice, those of us who are from that area, who have the brain, the understanding, and the blessing to be able to go back and give back to where we come from.
Thank you very much. You see, sir, like I said, after this, I will be jumping 24 hours. I can promise you, I'll be on my knees because this is something that it's not going to be, like you said, it's going to live beyond us. So, and if we do this, our children will be grateful to us. So I want us to put that in mind, that children and children to come, they will write about this. They will remember us. And if it is an opportunity for us to make a mark. But I'm going to ask Roland one question, because this is one thing everything. I know Uncle Frank has not mentioned that. Everybody will be worried. What about our security? People coming to bring in money to that place. We're talking of massive, huge amount of money now. How about security? Is that part of the plan?
Yeah. So what we have conceptualized is industrial.
All right. I intentionally asked that question because Roland will definitely answer that, and I'm sure the state government will answer on that. But that is the point of free trade zone. Free trade zone is actually easy to secure. You don't get in there. It's a city within a city. It's a city of its own. So it's easy to keep your things safe. So just for any of you watching this show tonight, and you want to be part of this, it's not open yet. Uncle Frank will throw so many things open. You can go through them. There will be some windows that will be open. But my job will be at the moment to facilitate this first meeting, have this thing started. Get the state, get the communities to give us what we need, and then create an enabling environment. Uncle Frank will come in with his team, and we'll begin to see a new story in our time. Uncle Frank, like you said, this is not going to be the most attractive thing for you to do. It's not going to bring in the best return on investment, but you are from there. And I'm happy my friend from Kogi is from the area. So we are in a time where Africa needs us, Nigeria needs us, Delta State needs us, not yesterday, now. Please, sir.
Yeah.
How do we, is there anything you want in terms of security from the state so that we know what will make demands? Though that's something we're going to have a quiet meeting with. I'm going to fight to have a meeting between you and the governor. I'm not postponing it. It's not going to something that's going to happen next year. I'm not going to do it on an interview. I want a sit-down table to talk about this and people start to work. And I'm happy the Roger is already aware and he has put a pen on this. So we already had the support for the supply industrial city, and I'm sure the young, even if we need anything from the Shekiri side, the young king will be more than happy. He's hungry for development as well. He'll be more than happy to give you those land.
Hey, just to jump in, I think the question you asked Roland is a good question about security, but you want to ask the governor when we meet. The governor needs.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, but we can't see your face. But even if we can hear your voice, we will live with that.
Okay. So what Uncle Frank just highlighted, if we are making reference to that, what we are leveraging on is our strategic geography and geology. So it's not like people will come to Delta State because it is Delta State. But Delta State is located in a place, the map of the world has strategic geography and geology. So some of the strategic geography is you have access to the Atlantic Ocean, or transportation. Then you also have good soil where you're located. That is good for agricultural development. Then you have potential to develop road transportation, air transportation, and other logistics network. Then ultimately, your geology, you have huge reserve or deposit of oil and gas. So those are advantages you have. So those are the things that attracted, the early manufacturing facilities to Delta State. So to Delta State, for instance, like Sapele, which Uncle Frank left in the 70s, you have factories. So when the colonial master got there, they realized that this place is strategic for factories to be set up to process some of the goods we will be having from the Delta before we export them. Then they now created a port to export them. But then what is the problem now? So if you want to create industries, you also look at competition with other industries in the world. And that's what affected us largely. So you ask the question of security. So when insecurity came, then setting up our factory became not competitive. So what others have done to curb that problem is to create industrial city free trade zone. So the industrial city free trade zone provides two safe havens. One, it provides security safe haven because access is controlling and out. So when the problem started in Warri, for instance, one of the largest, coating company in Africa was located in Warri before now, Brodero Shaw. Brodero Shaw was in Warri, but Brodero Shaw cannot continue to be in Warri because, of the insecurity. People just sleep and wake up and they carry their cutlasses and go to the gate of Brodero Shaw. But the company cannot cope with that. So the company moved to the Onne Free Trade Zone. So in the Onne Free Trade Zone, the company now has, security safe haven. You cannot go inside the free trade zone to meet them anymore. So they can operate, 24 hours throughout the year because they are now in safe haven. That's one. Then two, what the free trade zone also provides is the financial safe haven, because then you have tax-free operation within the safe haven. And that is what made the Dangote refinery economics became viable, because when you are in the free trade zone, you can buy in international price and also sell in international price in principle. That means even though if the Nigerian government or the Nigerian economy is subsidizing products, it does not affect the Dangote refinery. What it means in principle that you're going to be subsidizing production in Dangote refinery. So there are two safe havens. So what we have designed in Delta State, we have proposed, industrial city free trade zone in strategic geography and places with strategic geology in the state that will provide that security safe haven. So when you develop, for instance, the Sapele Industrial City Free Trade Zone, it's going to be safe because it's going to be access control in and out. You cannot just come inside. So all the experts who are looking for a safe haven to operate, to do their business, the Industrial City Free Trade Zone will provide them that safety and security they need to do their business. Most of them, because of the way we are designing it, they can fly into, for instance, the Escravos Industrial City Free Trade Zone if you're going to be incorporating airport, which is already part of Escravos currently. They will fly in and they will stay there for years, with their family, because everything will be within the Industrial City Free Trade Zone. And when they want to leave, they fly out. So they have safe haven to operate, to do their business, and to feel free within the time they are going to spend in the industrial city.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thank you, sir. Yes, I'm going to allow Uncle Frank to weigh in there, because this is two important things investors want to have, and I'm sure Uncle Frank will be interested in this. The security of the people is bringing in, and this a little bit of their money. They want to be secured, our lives and money, property, security of lives and property. And they bring in a lot of investment and they need security. Yes, sir.
That is very important. The security is very important because nothing else matters really when there's no security. But I believe that I think the reason for the insecurity is really the unemployment, the joblessness of the youths.
Yes,
if you give them something to do, if you give them hope, if they see activities of progress happening, and they will help to police the area, because they will not want to mess that up. When they see progress, when they see development, when they have hope, when they see good governance, when they have amenities, those things can be brought in pretty quickly if the resources are there to do it. If there is a concerted public relation to let the people have hope, and let them know that the government and and enterprise are on their side. You can change the trajectory of the area and the people
Yes, sir.
just by giving them the kind of hope that they need. Right now,
yes,
that is a little bit scarce. But if they know that their investments and their people who are interested in their welfare and their well-being, and that efforts are being made to bring all of that, you can control the insecurity to some extent. What I believe the industrial development city concept is to be made known to the people, so they become stakeholders in it. If we incorporate and turn the entire state into a construction site with activities going on, with overwhelming resources and assets brought into bear, it will change the atmosphere. Don't forget, somebody built Dubai.
Exactly.
People built Dubai. People built Echo Atlantic City.
Yes, okay, Uncle Frank is getting another call. It's no more. That's it.
It is our job and it's our responsibility to develop our area. We're not expecting the Europeans to come and do it. I'm not expecting people from the north to come and do it. It has to be those of us from the area that we initiate that and be able to get it done. And I think we have the alignment and the right people that can at least get it started. I mean, these things can be done pretty quickly because we have the resources all around us now. So there's no excuse. There shouldn't be any excuse for us not to do it.
Yes. If we don't do it now, then we're throwing away a big opportunity. And that's why we're going to jump into action. And I agree with you, sir. 90% of the reason for our insecurity is the communities are not carried along, which is very good. When we don't know that the community is going to be stakeholders in what is happening, they will go to secure their properties because they know this is where they're getting their daily bread. And another thing, communication. So sometimes our political elites are so alienated from the people, so they always secure themselves and the rest doesn't matter. Really, this is effective communication, like you rightly said. The community, the people will become our security. We don't need police. They will begin to secure their land because they will not allow you to come and mess up their own resources. In fact, in those days, you don't enter my village and do anything. You will not go out free because these people are securing their own. And that's the kind of security we'll get if this comes to bear. So I'm thinking here now that it's like I can't see a problem. I cannot see it anymore. All I need to do is allow the meeting to now begin to happen. Sir, before I will become so selfish, I have about 2 people on the platform they wanting to talk. So I will give them opportunity to weigh in and ask 1 or 2 questions. I don't know. I will just allow them to throw in 1 question before I'll let you round up. Because I'm not going to take too much of your time. You guys have said it all. But I'm going to weigh in Solomon. Are you there, Solomon? So we'll just give you a quick chance to throw questions to the great audience.
A very good evening to you all.
Good evening, sir.
I hope everyone is hearing me.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, without prejudice, I'm Barrister Solomon, a lawyer, solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, though I'm based here in the United Kingdom and America. I've been listening with rapt attention all your submissions. In the first place, I'm a full-blown robo man. And I have some reservations to make. Before I go on, sorry, there's still noise in the background. Would somebody mute his phone, please? I can still feel some noise in the background.
What is coming out is quite okay. We can manage that. Because it's
okay,
maybe from my side. Let me go on.
Okay. I want to thank the 2 speakers, the 3 of them, who have been talking for the past an hour or so, particularly Uncle Frank. This is the second time I can see him on your program. The other time our discussion was very friendly, and I also hope it's going to be also today. He's a responsible gentleman. I have so much respect for him. Thank you very much, Uncle Frank, for your submission.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
I thank my brother, Engineer Idimi, who I also have my respect for.
Thank you, sir.
Not the least, by all standard and ramification, is our brother, Luda, also from NPC with Uncle Frank. Gentlemen, I want to welcome you. I really appreciate all three of your discussions. But suffice it to say that I am highly disappointed with all the solutions that have been put together so far. You may want to ask why and how.
Okay.
All this while, hearing, hello, somebody's, yeah. All this while, all that I have been hearing is nothing but satellite development plan, open this, open that, open and this, that. Gentlemen, let me put it to you that Sheriff Obori, who is now the governor of Delta State, was not voted in only by the Okwe people. Sheriff was voted in by all the Urobos. I was expecting to hear from all of you that if we have a plan for satellite development, what about the other areas, the Urobo areas? What about the Urobo areas? What about the Olomo areas? What about the Abraka areas? So are these places not capable to have an equal development plan? Is that what you guys are telling me? Why should my eyes be seen my ears without the aid of mirror? I need somebody to wake me up from this sleep. I am puzzled, dumbfounded at this moment. Therefore, I want to urge that we should retire from this submission and amend our books, amend our works, so that everything that we have to do must encompass and cut through all the rural areas. I put it to you that if you look at the core, everything it did was to cover all the Igbo areas. We have gotten the mantle. The mantle that we have been clamoring for is now in our hand. And so this is the time we have considered it necessary that, oh, those people are robots. We are opens. Let's develop outside. No, it is wrong. I put it to you. I rest my case. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you, and thank you again. Have a good night rest. Thanks.
All right. Before I'm going to come in here, before I allow the audience to talk to you, Solomon, I'm a little bit disappointed that it's like you've not been listening. If you have been listening, you were talking about industrial developments of Delta State. If you see the topic, it's the industrialization of Delta State, not even the Okpela, not only Saple. And when Roland was giving his submission, he mentioned 3 now. He talked about 5. I know of the Asaba and the Escabos, which he did mention. And the kind of development we're talking about, Saple is a strategic place that will have a seaport. And whatever happened in that area affects the whole of Urobo nation. I will leave them to answer your question, but I don't mind you asking questions. Why are we not extending it if you didn't get it? But that you take offense already is a little bit on the high side. But I will keep quiet.
Let me respond to that. Yes, so what we have done, what we have proposed, is not a Urobo Industrial City Free Trade Zone. That's not what we have proposed. So what we have proposed is the Delta State Industrial City Free Trade Zone. That's what we have proposed. Yes. And the concept itself, we have studied the geography of Delta State and also the geology.
Let him move the way. Yes, we can hear you.
No, I have been talking since I did not put myself on mute.
No,
Roland, can you give me a minute?
We heard you clearly.
Roland?
We heard you clearly.
Can you give me a minute, please? I'm sorry, Roland.
I think we heard you to the end. Anyway, yes.
No, I have not finished. Roland?
Okay,
go ahead.
Now, Kris.
Yes, sir.
You don't tell people I am disappointed in you, that the person is not listening. I listen to everything, Kris. Don't make this worse.
You are the one that told you
Yes,
disappointed
I'm a
enough.
lawyer. Hold on. I am a lawyer and I'm a very, very good listener. I listen to everything happening here from the very beginning to this very moment. Where everything that was mentioned, all the plan that was mentioned was Sapler Industrial Development. 3D Sapler Industrial Development. So you don't tell people that.
Okay, Solomon. Okay, let me take you on this. Wait, you can take exception. I'm going to ask you. Did you hear of the ESCAP was mentioned?
ESCAP, what kind of development plan?
Did you hear of it? No, you said you've been listening.
No,
did you hear that?
Hold on.
No. Did you hear that? No, you're saying that you're taking exception, and I'm asking you.
So let me come in here. Yeah. So Daddy Kris, let me take it here. So Solomon.
I'm still taking exception to the language you use. That's why I said that language may be considered.
Hold on. Those questions were not directed to you.
I agree. I am here, sir. I am here.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
You don't tell somebody, Kris.
I have never said that. What did you go and
So, Daddy Kris, let me take it from here. So, Solomon.
I am talking to you. Listen. You don't tell your senior brother that you are disappointed in him. That is the exception that I'm taking in your language.
Okay.
That language is wrong.
Okay, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
That language is not supposed to come to me.
Okay, Barrister Solomon, let me break down this. So what we are talking about now.
Let me allow them to expand. Let me allow them to. Hello.
So,
hello, sir. Hello. Thank you very much. I know Roland is going to talk, but sir, we talk of 5 industrial cities, not 1. That is why I said.
Yeah, so it's not even just the industrial city alone.
Yes, go on.
So the plan is for the old Delta State. There's nowhere that will not be impacted by the Delta State Industrial Development Master Plan. There's nowhere that will not be impacted. As a fact, let me just break down the major capital project of the industrial city to Barrister Solomon. So what we have looked at, we want to create an enabling environment that will provide Delta State the strategic advantage to attract investors, not only in oil and gas, but also in manufacturing and other sectors. So to achieve that, we have looked at the old Delta State map, and we have selected to start with 5 strategic locations for industrial city free trade zone. So those 5 strategic locations, one of them is Oboro Industrial City Free Trade Zone. Oboro is in Brutu. That's where Delta State share boundary with Bayelsa State. As a fact, on the Bayelsa side, they're also planning to do their industrial city because the place is strategic. That's where you have the River Niger flowing into the Atlantic Ocean at the boundary between Delta State and Bayelsa. That's Oboro Industrial City Free Trade Zone. Then the second one is Focados Industrial City Free Trade Zone. So Focados itself, the colonial master, and also the oil and gas exploration and production company, Shell has established a terminal there. One of the reasons they established the terminal there is because of the strategic geography. That's the estuary, where you have the river flow into the ocean. So it's so strategic. And that strategic location is got a lot of oil and gas resource. As a fact, Shell has been producing Focados field for the past 60 years non-stop. So that is another location for an industrial city which we have proposed free trade zone. Then the third one is Escravos Industrial City Free Trade Zone. As a fact, in reality, Escravos is already like an industrial city today because that's where you have the Chevron terminal and you have a lot of oil and gas operations going on there. Just to master plan it and maximize it so that it will become highly productive. Then the fourth one is the Sapler Industrial City Free Trade Zone. So the reason you made reference to the Sapler Industrial City Free Trade Zone because We had already started that even in the last administration. We made some effort, and we cited that as example because of the effort we have also made in progressing that. I'm sure that's why you raise your objection. But that's just one of the 5 industrial city free trade zone which we have proposed. And the reason is the place is strategic for factories to set up. And among all the proposals we have made for industrial city free trade zone, Sapele is strategic in the sense that it's one of the few places that has all the requirements for an industrial city free trade. One, he has access to the Atlantic Ocean. 2, he has access to a lot of gas resource. He's also one of the only ones that have access to low road transport system and good proximity to an existing airport and all that. So that is just one of them. Then finally, you have the proposed Asaba Industrial City Free Trade Zone. The proposed Asaba Industrial City Free Trade Zone is the only one that is far interland. The reason is because Asaba is like a gateway to Eastern Nigeria. So it will provide a very strategic location for you to attract all the opportunities from Southeast Nigeria to Asaba, to Apache and all that. Then part of the development plan, we have proposed that we're going to develop agricultural development city. So apart from the industrial city free trade zone, they are going to be agricultural development city and plantations for the 25 local government area of the state. And what we have proposed a minimum. So if for a local government, they can actually do more. We said a minimum of 2,000 hectares of land, agricultural development city. The strategy is for those that are going to be in the industrial city, for instance, that will be processing agro-allied raw materials. If you have the agricultural city for cash crop, supplying them agro-allied raw material, then the whole value chain will be complete, and it will be easy for the manufacturers to set in and start manufacturing. That's for the 25 local governments. So you're going to have agricultural development city. Then outside that, we are looking at connecting the 5 cities with a mega network system to improve the logistics. So all the way from Oboro, you're going to run a mega road transport road network from Oboro to Fucados, from Fucados to Escravos, from Escravos to Sapele, and from Sapele to Asaba. That road itself will cut across almost all parts of the state to move on the transportation network. And the road.
Roland,
for the purpose of this,
Roland, can you hear me?
Let me just finish. Let me finich capital project so that you get the content.
No. I just want to say something. Okay. The thing is that because time is not on our side, let me just say something here. Roland, thank you very much for this detailed explanation, because you never said this before. I never had this before. Nobody ever had this before. I am now convinced that the program is not discriminatory, and I hereby wish to withdraw every of my submission that I made earlier on. They are withdrawn, and these new plans that you have disseminated now, which was never known to me, is fully understood and now supported.
Thank you so much.
And I apologize because I was never aware, I was never informed, it was never given in details like this. Rather than Kris coming to tell me that he was disappointed in me, for me, I still take an exception to that. I will talk to him later, he's my brother. Okay. We know how we talk when we finish this kind of program. So I want to apologize to you guys, gentlemen. You are doing a fantastic work, a great work that goes across everywhere in Delta State. Because the way it was put before, it was like it's one-sided, lopsided, and everybody was bound to say that why should these people be looking at only one side of the whole coin? They should look at the other side as well, the flip side. So I want to thank you so very much, guys. You're doing a very fantastic job. Go ahead, I wish you the very best. And thank you so very much again, Roland. You are my brother, you are my friend. Thank you, Uncle Frank. A great gentleman. I hear today is your birthday also, though I joined the program a bit late. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Very many happy returns.
Thank you.
You owe me an apology. Thank you so much. Thank you again. Thank you. Bye.
Anyway, we have to, I can understand Roland. He's a lawyer, lawyers are always like that. If not, if I had 2 programs already with Roland here in a couple of within a week, where we talk about his plan for Delta State and for Nigeria as a whole. So that is why I am so full. I have every details of the plan, and that is not maybe being touched upon in details tonight because we are talking about the final. My question tonight is, Roland, here you have the plan. This is somebody that can give us the money. Let us run. You understand? And maybe some of them were not fully mentioned at the submission because I didn't give room for that because I think I've prepared the ground for that. My own tonight was, okay, I have the 2 sides. I have the engineer and I have the money. What do I do? That is where I am tonight. So I apologize if I have said anything that offend you. We move. Roland, Uncle Frank, do you have anything to say to this gentleman? He's a lawyer, sir.
Well, let's listen to the next question, so I can sum them up.
Okay. The other person is not right here at the moment, but I'm sure if I give I blocked some of the questions because so that we have time to finish all the day.
All right. I know this is not going to be the end of the discussion, but I appreciate the Barrister Solomon because he was listening with different sets of ear. He wants all of the communities within the Roboland to be incorporated, and so I can understand that. The fact of the matter is, anything that happens within the industrial city will affect all of the neighborhoods. Because to me, if the neighborhood is well developed, there's no the distance between Sapele and Ughelli and Eku and Abraka, they are not very far. They are not very far if the transportation system is very efficient, if the road networks are good. They are all. I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Sometimes the entire Dallas-Fort Worth area is probably as big as, you can travel for 2 hours, almost 2 hours, and you're still within the Dallas Metroplex. There are over 120 cities in the Dallas-Fort Worth areas. So all of those neighborhoods, Ogara, Ughelli, Eku, Udu, Ujere, these are all neighborhoods as far as we are concerned. When the area is developed, all of those areas will be interconnected. You will not even know when you move from one locale to the other. That is the kind of thinking that even the industrial city development will affect everything. And I had said that as far as I'm concerned, the entire state should be a construction site. Construction site means that every area will be affected. There's no area will be left behind. Okay, because there's enough to get that. People are yearning for development, and the time to do it is now. And there's nothing really should stop us if we have the will and the desire to do it, because it is doable now. Because we have all of the apparatus in our hands to do it. So let's go ahead and begin to plan to get it done.
Yes, and Solomon, we're going to need you as we move along as well. Anyway, I'm going to give a little room to Lukman. 1 minute. A young man wants to ask a question, but Sunday you are talking to very mature people, so I would let you ask your question, make it brief and be direct. Sunday, ask your question quickly.
Thank you, sir. Uncle Frank, I greet you again to this house. I greet everybody. So I have a question for you. My question goes this way. Yeah, because I believe, so we are children of light. So I believe in light. My question goes this way. Why is it in Delta State they normally share light? From today it will be your turn, tomorrow will be Jumbo, next tomorrow Joseph. Number 2 question. Why is it that we cannot have a constant light? Because we are talking about industrial here. You cannot talk about industrial in a place where there is no light. We are talking about security here. You cannot talk about security when there is no light. Let me give you a secret here because I have gone deep a little bit.
Are you going to ask a question, sir? Sunday. I want you to ask a question. Don't give us secrets. Ask a question so we'll get you.
Okay. Okay. The question is that
why there's
question is why
we don't have
normally share the lights?
Okay, good. So in other words, yes. Go.
I don't know. Maybe Roland will be the best person. Roland can answer that question, but I can tell you.
Sunday, I hear what you're saying. You're asking, would there be electricity incorporated into the
Of course.
That's exactly what I've been asking Roland. So that I have to address your question. Roland, over to you, sir.
Okay, so like what the speaker rightly said, you cannot have manufacturing going on without steady power supply. You can't have manufacturing. Currently, almost all the little factories in Delta State, they are, power supplier of themselves. And there's no way it can be profitable for you to be running on diesel as a small factory. Then you will not be able to compete. So what we have planned, planning is that there will be solution for power supply. So with the Delta State Industrial Development Master Plan, there will be 24 hours power supply, not only to the industrial city, but to the whole Delta State in general. And so to achieve that, what we are using is gas to power solution to start with. So Delta State is located in an area you have a lot of gas resources. So the industrial city will be broken down into 6 districts. So the first district of the industrial city is the oil and gas district. That oil and gas district is going to have a lot of oil and gas processing companies. Then the gas company itself will be supplying gas to the next district, which is energy and power district. The energy and power district is designed to buy gas. So it's a business on its own that the energy and power district needs the oil and gas district. The oil and gas district, just because we have a lot of gas in Delta State, we'll be processing gas because the buyer, who is the buyer? The energy and power district wants to buy the gas. So the energy and power district buys the gas and they use it to run their turbine to generate electricity. And see why they are generating the electricity is because they also have another buyer, the manufacturing district, not third district. The manufacturing district buys electricity from the energy and power district to drive the manufacturing district. So all the plants that will be set up, the advantage they have, for instance, the advantage you have in Sabah industrial district, for instance, the electric zone, is because the cost of energy is lower than the cost of energy in Lekki. So the expectation is the manufacturing district will have gas at low cost, and they will also have electricity at low cost, and it's going to be steady. We are expecting that the electricity that will be generated will be much more than what is needed just within the industrial city. So the excess will be sold to the national grid, and that will be used to power our
Thank you. I so much thank you for the effort. One thing here, we have been hearing this for a long time. How confident are you giving to me in all those explanations, in those kind of baby drama that you are giving in this platform? Because we are the same, since I was born into that place,
Sunday, let me finish. I'm going to cut you here. He's not your governor, and I will take exception to that. He's not your governor. He didn't come here to defend anything. He comes here to tell us what we can do to move state forward. I will cut this off. I'm sorry. He doesn't owe you nothing. He's somebody that comes up with a beautiful idea that we want to exploit. Must he be the one you're going to ask that difficult question? Why don't you ask your governor? I'm sorry about that. I'm not going to take that further. Roland, I'm sorry. There are 2 questions I will be able to entertain. I'm sorry. I know you want to answer it. I don't know why Roland will be the one to say, to assure you. We're coming up here with a plan that we want to work with, and I expect everybody to buy into it. If you don't buy into it, but give me constructive things. Not to ask
Kris,
yeah.
Kris, I can respond to that also.
Okay,
so what we are trying to in like Lagos, for instance, has created some of those models. So I am speaking from Lagos, where saying don't take the light. Don't take the light. And Lagos is far away from the gas resources. They don't take the light because they created that enabling environment. So if you take example with the legislature,
your network is cutting.
The way it is considered.
We can't hear you fully, Roland. We can't
so if you take example,
Roland, can you hold your phone?
Can you guys hear me? Huh?
Not really great.
No, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, and I think I listen when people ask questions like that, they are excited. They want to know. They want to be assured of the direction that you see. What we're doing here is bringing solution to age-old problems.
Yes.
Rightfully so. The resources are scarce. So in economics, we talk about supply and demand, and the state. Unfortunately, we've been going through a lot of gyration over the years. Since independence, we now had very strong, stable institutions. So we're trying to build, and these things take some time. Development is not a 1 or 2 decade thing. It's a long continuum. But I believe that with the resources, with the exposure that some of us have had here in the West, we've seen how things are done. We see how they mobilize resources. Those things are not very common to do. And by God's grace, we have learned some things, and we want to be able to assist people back up. I really appreciate Roland for his depth of understanding, for his exposure and his desire, the energy that he puts into creating the plan. That's a very visionary young man in your environment. We should appreciate. Because it takes people, it takes brains, it takes energy, it takes commitment to do what he's doing.
Thank you, sir.
And so is what I have to do here.
Yes, sir.
I have the privilege of living in an environment where all of these things are taken for granted.
Yes.
24 hours electricity. We don't have to buy our own road. We don't have to construct our own road. We don't have to construct our own security. We don't have to construct. We get these things by subscription. We pay for them. There are systems that are built, and we've learned to appreciate that. And Roland in that environment has a vision of what can be, of what can be, and he needs all the support. The reason Roland is having difficulty is because some of those people who are in authority don't have the foresight or the temperament, because they are short-sighted. So it will require people who have that level of commitment to get things done, and we are grateful that he's there. And we will combine our resources, bring the right people, because it is people that drives ideas, it is people that make things happen. Yes. And we are just fortunate at this time that we have some of those resources, we have some of those people that are willing to support this idea, support the state government, so that we can move the trajectory of the state forward. And that's what we are already willing and able to do.
Thank you very much, sir. In fact, I want to use the right word, sir. At this point, I just want to, I don't know whether you go to church or not, but in the Bible, there's somebody called Joseph. I want you to know that there's going to be a time where I call the people in the diaspora as the Joseph of our time. And that is what you represent, sir. See, when Joseph got it all good, he had everything. He looked back. He looked back to his brothers. And that is what you did. I can see the passion in you, Uncle Frank. I've been talking to you for some time now. And you want to give back. It's your opportunity. You see it as an opportunity. When you have all the opportunity to fly and enjoy yourself in the United States, you're never going to be hungry in your life. You don't need anything. But here you are thinking about your people. May God bless you. So please, I'm going to, like you already said, Roland going to need all the support. All the support. All right. All the support we need. All the support we need. And one of the support is what we are bringing in, sir. And this is the biggest thing about Roland. Say Roland know he has people behind him. Roland, I'm going to make so much noise, trust me. I'm going to make so much noise. And I'm going to make sure anybody that comes on the way, in fact, he's going to get the treatment. That's what I'm going to tell you. That's what Uncle Frank has coming. I'm going to make so much noise. Like I said, I will arrange a meeting as soon as possible with the governor. I'm glad Luther is here. Luther is not going to let you go because you might be the one to go to the Delta State. Uncle Frank had me move. I couldn't move him to London. I don't know how I'm going to get him easily to Delta, but we'll see what we can do. That a meeting is set up immediately. Like the young man who's our governor is a very kind person. He's accessible. And so I'm going to throw the question to you back to Luther. Luther, you did ask me last time, how soon can I arrange a meeting? The question, will you be available for a meeting if I say we have a meeting next week, sir?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know about the chairman, but I'll be available. And I also want you to try and find a way to get the new senator.
All right.
Natasha is married to a guy from Sapele.
Okay.
Natasha is very, very good lawyer, very, very good industrialist. Find a way to get her to be part of because you're going to need all the logistics. When you have a governor, you have a senator, then you have all the people that is going to help Roland and all his team get this thing done. Our job is just to help get this thing done. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, let me say something about Luther. Luther is from Kogi State, and let me see here. And let's see, did I lose something?
No, sir. We can hear you. We are with you, sir.
Okay. And Ajaokuta Steel Complex is in Kogi State. One on the NVC Fund Master Plan for Development in Africa and Nigeria. The idea is also for us to take over the Ajaokuta Steel Complex. Natasha's parents, I think his dad is one of the engineers that built the Ajaokuta Steel Complex. So the dad is from Ukraine. So she's a Ukrainian, because Ukrainians, Russians built the Ajaokuta Steel Complex. And so she's
the other way. The mom is from Ukraine. The dad is from Okene.
Okay. The mom is Nigerian. And the dad, the dad is from Nigeria.
Yeah, Kogi State.
Okay, and the mom is from Ukraine.
From Ukraine, yes.
Okay. So usually it's the other way around. So.
The other way around. You're right, Uncle Frank. That's how we always get it.
So she's a fighter. She's a real fighter, and I appreciate all the energy that she puts into her politics. And she's married to somebody from our area. I think it's one of the Odwagan's family members. Odwagan, they are practically from Sapele. So so the desire for us to merge and begin to bring some of those resources, because NVC fund interest is beyond the Delta State industrial development. I have great plans and initiatives for not only the Delta State, Nigeria, and the entire African continent. So we want to help, but the foundation because I'm from that area, it has to be from home. Yes. I'm going to put a lot of effort and resources into the development of the Delta State area. So that is important to me.
Yes, sir. And
did I get lost now?
No, sir. We are still with you. Just your camera flipped a little bit. We'll get that done. While I throw a little light. Just for your information, Roland, which I would like Roland to clear a little bit. I've had a time to have 2 shows with Roland already. One, we talk about Nigeria Industrial Development Plan. So Roland does not have it for Delta State alone. He has it for the whole of Nigeria. And most importantly, he talks about how the whole of Africa can key in by talking about single currency and all that. I will allow Roland to weigh in a little bit on that before we end the show. Roland, over to you. Can you hear us, Roland?
Yeah, I can hear you people. So
go on.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, talk a little bit about the Nigerian one so they don't think we're selfish. We're going to start from home, Roland. We're certainly going to start from home. But just so it's clear, we're not looking at only our area, we're looking at Nigeria as a whole.
Yeah, so in our discussion for Nigeria, the Nigerian Industrial Development Master Plan,
yes,
we looked at the 10 industrial development commandments for Nigeria, which are 10 things which
you call it the 10 commandments.
The 10 commandments. Yes. So which the country. So if, for instance, politics is not of priority than industry, that's what the country ought to be looking at. So the first thing we talked about, aside the restructuring, which is inevitable, which is necessary, is for the gas master plan to be revised. So you want to revise the gas master plan so that you can send gas to all states of the Federation. You send gas to all states of the Federation. In our discussion, we talked about Kogi, for instance, and the natural resources they have. Among the 35 solid minerals we have in Nigeria or in Africa in commercial quantity, Kogi has like 32 of them, to tell you how rich the state is. But yet, in reality today, it's almost like, the poorest state. In terms of iron ore deposit, Kogi has the largest iron ore deposit in Africa currently. And, it's like one of the poorest states. So to realize this industrial development plan, you want from the Niger Delta construct pipeline to all states of the Federation. And when the pipeline is being constructed to the different states of the Federation, it should not just go anywhere. It should be constructed to the industrial city. And it's good to have a free trade zone status of the industrial city in all the Federation. So if, for instance, you're taking the pipeline to another strategic state like Ebonyi State, it should be connected to the Ebonyi industrial city free trade zone. So when you get there, it terminates at the first district, which is also the district of the free trade zone. Then from the gas district, the strategy is gas to power.
And we managed to see through with Roland network.
Yeah, so
cannot hear you well. What we get in Nigeria today. For children who watch this program in years and years to come,
okay,
this is
Kris, when you have the time, or when Roland get back, let's him talk about the project Buhari started, or the gas project, whereby they want to be able to, since Ukraine and Russia have the war, there's a project for us to be able to start selling gas to Europeans so that they can heat their home. And I know that project has already started. Is he aware about that?
I think Roland has a very clear idea of what I was talking of, even drawing it from Angola. Roland, I thought he was even in Angola as we speak. Roland, are you there?
It starts from Delta State.
From Delta State, yes.
Then goes through Niger Republic, Morocco, and until...
Definitely, the Morocco project, yes.
Yeah.
And you made a very important point, because it is a time where the war in Russia and Ukraine has disrupted supply of gas to us here in the West. Yes. And we definitely need it. And it's an open door and an open opportunity for businesses to come in from our end. Unfortunately, we've not taken advantage of that. We've not really done that, unfortunately. Let's see whether we have these people back. I'll be with you briefly. I think we've solved the problem. I want to tell you, Luther, that I'm going to need you big time. Uncle Frank is it's not somebody I'll be moving every day, but it's probably you I'll be calling to have the first meeting with them in Delta State. I want to make that as soon as possible. The time is now. It's clicking, and we're not going to have this opportunity again. So I'll be begging you.
I was just going to say this. Frank is very, very busy. Okay,
I know.
He has gazillion projects. He has projects from South Africa to most European countries. So when you can't find him,
yes, sir,
just get me.
I know.
I'll be able to find a way to bring him into it. It's very important what he said earlier on, because knowing him for more than 3 years now,
yes,
we have to get the state government, or local government, whatever it is, that those logistics are very, very important.
We will get him. He's a good guy. We're lucky. It's a great time in our time. Our governor is somebody we can address. And I'll be working on it. I'm not sleeping now. I said after this meeting, after this discussion, I'll have something in my plate to work with, and I got it tonight. So I want it to be. I want to use your point to sensitize the Deltans, Afro Nigerians, on the opportunity that is coming. So I'm wetting in the ground for me to be able to go back. So we're going to work on this like yesterday. ASAP, sir.
So Roland, do you have any idea about that project that Nigeria is working on to connect to Europe? Do you have any idea about that, yes, Roland?
Yeah. So yes, but the what goes around in the news might not be very correct.
Okay.
So what goes around in the news, they talked about a project going through Niger. I think that's just more of news. What is feasible, which they've also discussed in the oil and gas industry, which will be beneficial to Africa to it, the offshore project. The offshore project starts from Nigeria and goes through the offshore to Morocco, then from Morocco across to Europe. But the one through the land, that is not. So the project we are doing through the land currently is called KKK project. The KKK project is from Kogi to Kaduna, and then from Kaduna to Kanu. That's the KKK project. So the KKK project is part of the overall industrial development plan. It has to be so that it all state of the federation, so that the state will have potential to convert gas to electricity in each of the states. But for the one that goes to Europe, one of the reasons why that is not feasible to go to Europe, a concept in the oil and gas industry is no more feasible for you to design such a pipeline, most especially if it's going to be transcontinental pipeline through onshore, because it will be highly exposed to vandalism. Even the one we have now currently from Escravos to Lagos, the Escravos pipeline system is highly exposed to vandalism. So because of that, a new pipeline was constructed for WACP that goes through the ocean to move that way. So by concept, there is a pipeline system design they call AWOG. The AWOG pipeline system will start from Rivers State, and from Rivers State to move to Bayelsa State, from Bayelsa State to Delta State, from Delta State through the ocean to Lagos. That will flow 3 billion scf of gas per day from the Niger Delta to Lagos. So the thinking now is that pipeline system will be extended all the way through all this coastline of Benin Republic, Togo, Ghana, and all the way to Morocco through the offshore, because that one will be safer and to have least exposure to vandalism. Then from Morocco, then it can cross the ocean to Europe. So that's the thinking. Then also they are thinking also that instead of it starting from Nigeria, because Angola has a lot of gas reserve, so you can also walk that pipeline downward towards the south, so that you can start from Angola. So from Angola, the pipeline goes through the ocean from Angola to to Congo, which is another country that has a lot of gas. Then from Congo to Equatorial Guinea, then from Equatorial Guinea to Gabon, then to Cameroon, then from Cameroon to Nigeria through the ocean. Move that way through Cote d'Ivoire. So why you need to move that way is because the inlet manifold for the gas pipeline system will be so large. So all the gas in deep water that is currently being flared in deep water of, like Nigeria has a lot of gas flaring in the deep water. So you have Agbami, you have Akpo, you have Bonga. So they're being flared. So all those gas that are being flared will be tied into that pipeline system that goes all the way to Morocco. And from Morocco, across the ocean to Europe. Then we can supply all these gas that are being flared to European market. But as we're also thinking that, some of us are thinking of creating a manufacturing base in Nigeria so that the gas, we don't just sell the gas to Europe, finally we start importing all product back to Nigeria. We also want to use the gas for manufacturing process so that we can be exporting finished goods as well.
Okay, very, very good. I just want to give you a prop up for having so much knowledge about it. Everything you just said is possible. How do I know? Because I work with Main One Cable, the company that connects West Africa to the internet. Okay, most Nigerians don't know the reason they can go onto the internet is because of Main One. If we know the importance of Main One, okay, about 2009, I worked with them for about 3 years. We laid fiber optic of the Atlantic Ocean to Europe to connect. Yes. So everything you just said now, I don't know, I'm not an oil and gas.
Yeah.
I know it's possible because I have been part of Main One Cable. The woman who owned Main One Cable, Funke Okweke, I have a phone number right now. I talk to her anytime I want to. So what you just said is very possible. I want you to also know that Frank is looking at doing more than just Delta State. He has a whole bunch of projects, the entire Africa. If you get your logistics correct and you can get the right people on the meeting, it is very possible what you just said. Okay, it looks big, but it's very possible. Because I was there when Funke Okweke made it happen for West Africa. The internet you see connecting Ghana, Nigeria, listen, it's not MTN, it's not Glo. They don't have, all Glo did is lay towers within the country.
Yes.
Say it is. If you come to the United States or Europe right now, you don't see towers everywhere. You know why? Because if I'm the Minister of Technology today, I'm going to tell MTN and Glo to remove that tower in 3 years. Get it out because it's an eyesore. When you're flying into the country, all you see is towers everywhere. You don't see it in England or...
No, we don't see that here.
So, exactly. So we need to have the right people on it because if I'm the Minister of Technology, I am going to make everything possible. You will have an internet connection in Nigeria and why is it that I can do it and we can do it? Is it because it's Nigeria? Why?
No, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Frank has the capacity to do so many things if we have our logistics correct. I know it's funny because he's in Nigeria. Most people don't think like, who's this man who can? I've been with him for 3 years. I can tell you there's a lot he can do. Okay, there's a lot he can do. So just get your planning and logistics correct. Get all the support we need, especially with the governors I just mentioned. I met Natasha one time. Now, Natasha is an industrialist. She has all the energy to fight in the Senate. She may not be the governor, but you can include her in your logistics planning. So that again, I'm not asking, there's nothing for her or for me to benefit. I just know this is possible if you have the right people.
Thank you very much. You see, we've been on the show for 2 hours now, and I really want to thank you all.
Yeah.
I cannot easily. I achieved why this meeting was held, and I want you to know that you've done a lot of justice to our generation. We've started something big, something great, and I'm sure this broadcast will stay very long. So whatever it is, please be proud and be thankful for what we have done today. I want to say this, for those of you that don't know Uncle Frank, I remember the last time I hosted him on this show, a guy that ran for American president said, "Sir, had I known you, my campaign would have been better." That is the person we are talking of from your place. For those of you that is from my place, Uncle Frank grew up in Saple, so it's not somebody that is very far. But a guy that ran for American president said, "Had I met you, sir, my campaign would have been better." And I'm happy Lukman has confessed to that as well. We're going to take advantage of that. And it's not every day we meet someone like Roland. It's not every day. Roland, like I told you, you are a blessing to us, and God will continue to, please use it. I know you'll be, you see, I will say this, Roland, when you carry the light, you're going to have a lot of trouble because people want darkness. A lot of darkness is going to come your way, you know. The only reason light to overshine, but light have to continue to burn in order to push the darkness away. So you're going to keep it burning, sir. You know, the darkness will be there, but push the essence of light so that they can push the darkness away. So don't be afraid of darkness. Don't be discouraged with darkness. They are there. But what you're talking about is something noble, something we've not seen. It's an opportunity. And if we can do this, maybe Africa is just about to take a U-turn using you and Uncle Frank as a tool to something greater. I think you should please work with me. I'm going to cry 24 hours to the relevant authorities to make sure this meeting happens in the next one. And I'm happy, even Uncle Frank, I know Uncle Frank will be, it's not so easy to move, but I'm happy Lukman is here and I'm going to hold Lukman accountable from today so that we have a closer meeting and we can get this started. Lukman, I will be working with you when it comes to your state as well.
You mean me, Luther?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Luther. Sorry, I call you Lukman. See, that sounds crazy. Okay. Luther, I saw your name there. Sorry, sir. Yeah.
No, you are very important in this. If you work with Roland, okay, yes, you are very, very important because you have the media, so you can put people together. Now I was just talking about Main One. I love what the woman has done in Nigeria. If I'm the president, I'll give her an award because Nigeria would have been in darkness today if it wasn't her.
Yes.
Okay. Now you have,
and we don't know. We see most of these things are not. You see, these people that make the difference, they're not even heard of.
She's not about corruption.
Yes.
She's about getting things done. If anybody who is listening to you want to check about Main One, Google her name. Main One. I was in Victoria Island with her for years. Now, initially, I was thinking, why don't Frank just go ahead and buy Main One? Now, we were too late. Guess what? Who bought Main One? American company. An American company went to Nigeria and bought Main One company from her and made her the CEO. I was hoping that Frank was going to buy it because the one thing that is important to me. I was going to fly to Lagos and say, "Man, do you remember me? Sure. Just write a check. How much do you want this thing? How much do you want us to pay you for this?"
Yes.
Because what she's done is ridiculously important, more than what Buhari or Basanjo anybody can do. So back to Roland now. It's up to you. The ball is in your court.
No, I think Roland is doing his bit. Uncle Frank is come to reinforce it. It is not left for the community to stand behind Roland and you as well, because Roland is sometimes I don't want to know what that boy is going through. He's strong. He's patient, you know. And you see, I always say people like that, they don't shout. Only that the Christians shout. I will shout, make all the noise. Roland, you get the job done. That's what I would say. Roland, I do the shouting, you get the job done. We're going to move this because this is the only opportunity we have. And with Uncle Frank, in fact, this is the thing. You hear Luther saying again that he wanted him to buy that thing. Something an American company will buy. Your brother has the resources to do so.
Yes.
What are we waiting for?
American company has bought Main One about 6 months ago.
Just 6 months ago.
So what was was interested in. I wanted to surprise her because I haven't seen her now since 2011 when she opened. I wanted to see her and say, ma'am, do you remember me? Now I'm back to take over your company. It was too late. Again, what I'm telling you now, Roland and everybody listening, I am not making it up. I grew up in America. I don't lie. I have no reason to lie. I'm telling you what happened. So what you have just said about gas going through the Atlantic Ocean, it can happen. Because I saw Funke Okweke, that's her name, lay fiber all the way from Lagos to Portugal and Europe. That is how Nigeria get. Don't worry about what MTN and Glo say. All they did was build a network inside the country. If I'm calling Nigeria right now, everything goes through main one. But she doesn't, Funke Okweke doesn't run her mouth. She doesn't talk. She's very quiet. She grew up in Washington, D.C., where I am here. So we have Nigerians who can make things happen. Okay. It looks like the chairman is
back.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, Uncle Frank, you're welcome. We can't ring a bell. People, Luda have been saying a lot. We're going to just thank you for what you represent and thank you for remembering home. Thank you for being the Joseph of our time. And Roland, you've started a job. When Moses started it, it was difficult, but he keeps it on. He got angry sometimes, I understand, but you got to keep this happening. I have Joseph and I have Moses today, and I know we're going to the promised land. I am really grateful to have both of you. So let's start the job, and I want to see this as a team, and I want to beg for a team. I want to be communicating more. I'm going to set up a team group so that you have the people you think will make this happen. Before I proceed, I will set it up. I will expect Roland to add his own. Uncle Frank will add his own, and then we'll have a small meeting, and then I'll break out the meeting immediately with the governor so that we can move forward. If there's anything I want Uncle Frank to say before we go, and don't forget, we're going to play one music for your birthday, the same one we used to start with, sir. We're going to end with it. Yes, sir. It's like we can't hear you, sir.
You're mute.
We cannot hear you.
All right.
Okay. It's like we can't get to Uncle Frank.
Yeah, let me just get him.
Yes, get him. See, Roland, you have so many things on your shoulder right now to carry.
I just texted.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, good. It's a wonderful time. All right. Don't worry, Samuel, you've been on the show. And for being on this show, you have access to a lot of good people.
Oh, okay, Kris. Okay, I have something to say. What is the next move? What are you?
Yes, the next move is I'm gonna immediately start. I'm gonna create a group. Okay. A group I will have. Roland will have 1 or 2 persons he want to work with, and Frank will have 1 or 2 persons he want to be in this project. Okay. I'm gonna have those people, and I'll broker the first meeting with the governor. All right, and that I can do, and then we start. We don't even have time, and because from what I can see here, everything is really is there for us to do. So and that's what I'm going to do, starting from once I click the end of this show. That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hold on a second.
All right.
Frank just texted me. We can hear you. It looks like he can hear us, but we just can't hear him.
Unfortunately. If he takes his earpiece off, probably we can hear him. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you take it from your phone, yeah. If you take your earpiece, if you unplug your earpiece, we will hear you.
Oh, you mean from the computer?
Yes, from the computer. I don't think. Yeah, maybe he's using the computer now. We're using the phone.
Yeah, I'm actually using computer myself. Yeah.
Oh, yes, computer is better. You know, Uncle Frank was using phone, so that every time he gets a call, we get disconnected. They interrupt the
I may be
conversation.
surprised that he has time to
Yes.
be with us this long.
Yes. Uncle Frank always make time for this because this is, like he said, this is where he comes from.
Yes.
We miss him. We want him back home. We want to take the little we can get out of him right now, and it's an opportunity. Yes. All right, Roland. Roland, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you?
Wonderful. So, like I said, we're going to try and get people to have some rest. We'll be here for 2 hours, actually 2 hours and extra 10 minutes. We want to thank you for this. And like I said, if there's anything you want us to do, you can tell us now. But once I get out of here, I will open up the team. I want to, if you have 1 or 2 persons you want to work with, the first thing we'll have the meeting with the governor. Let's have the government in. Because I have this solid team, I have the engineering team, I have the financial team. I need the government team to be on board, and then we'll move. So that will be the first meeting we'll broker, and we'll start from there. So, and that's what I'm going to do. So, if you have any more thing to say, you can tell us, and then we'll move.
So, what we are looking at here, with having Uncle Frank and his team being part of it, that means everything has become so easy.
Yes.
It's just for we to, since the governor has to be involved, definitely, so that the state government will play some leadership role in putting the whole thing together. So after that engagement, so I think in terms of drawing up a pathway forward, you will have a presentation with the state government so that they can be on board. When they are on board, then they can now start looking at the initial work program to execute. So expectation is you can start, massive consultation across all part of the states that you've proposed to develop industrial city free trade zone and also agricultural development city free trade zone. So the consultations can actually be going at almost the same time. So the ones you have sources already, you can do the survey and progress with the establishment of the SPV for those ones. And then you progress with doing the master planning. So when you have the master planning 3D model, that means you already have tool for branding and marketing. So then when you're talking with Uncle Frank and his team, you're not just showing him pictures of a bush and forest, but you're going to be showing him 3D model of what you're talking about. And that's what you also use to drive all the marketing internationally, because having someone like Uncle Frank and his team involved, it means you're going to be having some international traction for investors that will be looking at the plan. So those investors that are looking at, it could be manufacturing companies, it could be energy and power companies. They don't want to see bush, pictures of bush, or you're just telling them, wet verbally. So if you have 3D model and you're showing them that, this is the energy and power district, you can set up your turbines here, and this is the manufacturing districts that they will take your power that you're generating. And these are the pipelines with the manifold which you can tie your turbines into to supply gas to your turbine, and you start generating electricity. And as a fact, there are off-takers that are ready to sign off to offtake your electricity that you'll be generating to the manufacturing district and also to the national grid. So that is the language which people will understand. When we are able to take this to that level, if you go to Lekki Free Trade Zone, just at the entrance, you see they build I think 15 or 20-story building just at the entrance, which is like the liaison office. You see, that is for marketing. So all the Chinese, when they come there and they see what, they see that tower there, they know these are serious people. So when they are bringing their billions to put into the investment, they know this is serious investment. So that's also part of what you need for the initial work program to attract the kind of investment you need in Delta State.
Thank you very much. What a place! Like I said, we're gonna I'm gonna start working. I'm gonna need everybody to work now. I'm going to take Luther. Thank you very much for being on the show. I am with you full time on this. Roland is always there with me, and I have Uncle Frank. So I'm gonna do something tonight. I won't be talking everything on this platform, but I'm going to tell you that I'll be here to report that there will be a meeting as soon as possible with the government of Delta State. The governor will be involved directly, so that we can have that initial foundation to start to work. And the communities, like Roland said, consultation and everything will start going almost immediately. Thank you very much for joining the show. Thank you for joining the show. Luther, thank you so much. I can see the depth of your knowledge and your experience. We're going to need it as well. And yes, Uncle Frank is there. Roland is there. Let us end the show by celebrating Uncle Frank again and saying happy birthday to you, Uncle Frank. We love you. You are a blessing to us. And it couldn't have been better. We are grateful for what you have been able to do for us.
So are you able to send a copy of this conversation?
Yes, I will send it immediately. I'll send a copy of this immediately.
Okay.
So, yes, I want to say we're going to end with saying a very big happy birthday to Uncle Frank. We celebrate you on this wonderful day. I'm going to play the same track again that we used to dance. We'll dance with you tonight and let the whole of that say dance. And I want to say this, for those of you that are just looking at this man, you might not know him. But if you know who we have on the screen now, and he happens to be from Delta State and is willing to help us, and you see the title of the show is Industrialization of Delta State. That is something he's going to back us with the financial. He has the financial muscle to make it happen. And Roland, you've heard him again and again. Roland have the resources. And good enough, our brother is the governor. Let us celebrate. It's a day of joy. Thank you very much. Let us celebrate with this show. And I'm ending with this as well. Yes. Let me let you guys rest. It's happy birthday once again, Frank. I'm dancing in the studio. I'm sweating, and I want to thank you. Everything is. We can continue some conversation online. Because it's been 2 hours, so we can do all these things. Today is your day, Frank, and we are happy. We're proud of you, and we'll continue to celebrate with you even after this. But like I said, a team is ongoing. If you have anything you're going to contribute to this, let me say this is very important before I click on the final button. If you know you have any idea that will make this bearer, please, you are more than welcome. If you have any idea, anything you want to contribute, if you want to be in the team, it's still a very baby show, but we have the kind of caliber of people. Please come to with something constructive. Let us make history. Let us change the narrative. I thought Africa cannot change in my time, but this is an opportunity for Africa to start to change. Let's stop talking. Let's do it now. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Hey, Luther, God bless you so much. You have so much energy as well.
Yeah, if you send the
Yes.
the video, so
Yes,
I can share with Frank when you've done that. Thank you very much.
Yes, I'll send it over immediately.
All right, bye bye.
Yes, and I'll send to Frank, and Frank will send me your number as well.
Oh,
one of my numbers is playing on the screen now.
Okay? I'll give you my number right now.
All right, just type it there, so it's easier. So we don't get it right. Just type it on the private chat.
Oh, okay.
So put your number in the whole world. All right.
I hope the whole Nigeria don't start calling me now.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say put it on the private chat. All right.
Send some money like
I know.
All right, so talk to you later.
All right, then. Thanks.
Bye bye.
All right. So that's what we do tonight, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you, and stay with us. And like this video, I'm gonna share it, because this is important. I use this to the essence. Why would I have this kind of conversation on an open field? Let everybody hear, because I want the world. In fact, I want everybody in Delta State, in Nigeria, in Africa, to know about this plan and then support it. Because the reason you are privileged to have this is so that you hear it, see whether there's any lies, and you make up your mind. If it's something good, support it. There should be no enemy. We're about to make history. We're about to change the narrative. The message tonight is there's an industrial development plan which is workable, and our own brother have the financial muscle to make it work, and we have a very friendly governor. This is the most important time. And hopefully when we start with Delta State to begin to, everything will begin to move on to the rest of the country and possibly to Africa, and then we'll be able to impact the world. But let's start from home. And that's what we're doing tonight. God bless you all, and good.